The concept is function. So actually, what is the need of function here? Actually, how we implement the user-defined functions? How many types of functions are there? We will see in some programs on this function concepts here. Function is a self-contained block of statement, and it is used to perform some task or operation here. The actual definition of function is that. And if you see, the function can also call sometimes it is procedure or subprogram here. Basically, C language is procedure oriented language. Okay, why it is procedure oriented means if you take any application, the application is in terms of procedures, functions. That is why C is procedure oriented. The advantages are first one is reusability, and the second one is debugging, and third one they are executing the program very fastly. The efficiency of the program is increased. Now coming to the types of functions here. Actually, how many types the functions are classified here? Basically, the functions are classified two types. First one is system-defined function here. Sir, what is meant by system-defined functions? System-defined function means the functions which are already available in the library. Those are called system-defined functions or predefined functions. Okay, the functions which are already available in the C library are called predefined built-in functions also we can call. So till now, what are the built-in functions we are observing? Scanf, printf. If you see mathematical, if you see math.h library, and that consisting of this sqrt pow function, and coming to the string strlen, okay, strcmp, all these functions are what here? All these functions are what? Built-in functions. So which are already having some internal meaning in the C library. But what about the user-defined function here? Coming to the user-defined function here, the according to the application requirement, the programmer he can design his own functions. So those are called here user-defined functions here, and those are here display, sum, and cube. All these are called user-defined functions here. So if you found display function is available in your library, no. Sum, no. Cube, no. So that is why all these are called here user-defined functions. User-defined functions. Then how we create these user-defined functions? How we create these user-defined functions in the program here? So if you create these type of user-defined functions in the program, you should follow some steps. What are the steps? The first one is function prototype. Okay, it tells that how the function is look like here, the return type, how many number of arguments the function is having, what are the data types, and that will tell. And function call means when actually you have to utilize your function. At that time, I am calling the function. And function definition means it will give the exactly what the action of what is the action the function can provide, and what is the operation the function can provide, and that will give your function definition. The complete business logic will be whatever we have written here, that must be written in function definition only. Okay, and now let us see first one by one. The first step is function declaration. Okay, the first step is function declaration. So when we declare any function here, so if we declare a function, the function name is same here. The function name is first it is having, and before function name it is having some return type and data type and number of arguments it is having. Number of arguments. So name of the function, and before the name of the function here, it is having return type, data type, and argument list. Similarly, I'm using another way of representation, function name, return or data type. Here, I'm specifying the type, the data type, argument 1, type, argument 2, type, some argument n, one of the way. Otherwise, return type or data type, function name, and it uses, okay, it uses directly, we have to specify its types. In this case, I don't want to specify the argument variable name. Then you can specify the variable types only. So if we represent this any one of the way, and that that will call your function declaration, or function prototype also. So here see, if I am taking display, this is my name of the function, and void is the function, it is not written any value, and function which is not having any arguments. And what about second one? What about second one? Int sum of int x means what? Sum is the name of the function and it is having two arguments. Return type is integer. Okay. What about third one? Sum, name of the function. It is not written any value and having two arguments. And print is the name of the function. Void is the return type and it uses here argument. One is integer, character, float. And coming to the last, the difference between these two here, this is belongs to the second one and this is belong to third here. Okay, and this is sample here. Now in this case here, I don't want to specify the variable name. Can I use directly its a data type? Okay, no problem with that. You can use its data type here. So once if you represent, okay, once if you represent any function like this here, that is called prototype here. So actually what is the need of this prototype means what? This prototype tells that uh, the usage of functions in the program here. That means what? So this tells that a display is the function, it is not take any arguments and it not return any value, this tells. And sum is having two arguments and it is written one value, and that tells here. And where we use this function declaration, the function declaration, it should be declared above. The good usage is what? We have to declare the function above the main section. Why? If we declare above the main section means it is having the global scope, it is having the global scope. So that is why if we declare any function, it must be declared the above the main section. Okay. And next, coming to the function call. Coming to the function call. So the syntax of function call, the syntax of function call is this: function name and the parameter. Parameter. Okay, one of the way. And see here I'm using the function name and the parameters, and I can assign this function name to some other variable also. We can use this two ways here. We can use function call. So when we use this directly function name followed by parameters means if function is not written any value means you can use directly using function name with its parameters like display. It is not having any parameters. Then this is my function call. I have to call sum of 10 comma 20. Then sum is name of the function. I am passing the arguments here. And next a comma b. Okay, I'm passing the arguments. And see, if suppose my function is having return type means I can assign I can assign this function call to where some variable here ans, and this return type is equivalent to return type of this function here. In this way, we are using function call here. So actually the parameters here, whatever the parameters we are used in the function call, those function call are actual parameter. Actual parameter means our input parameters, our input variables. And it is not to use all input variable as your actual argument. It's your requirement. If you want to use all inputs as parameters, no problem, and some of them no issues. Sir, I don't want to pass any argument, you no problem with that one. So it is optional to use all inputs are your parameters. Okay. And next, and what about the parameters which are used in the function declaration? If suppose in this, if I am using these parameters, if in this function declaration, and these are called formal parameter, we are called duplicate parameter. Okay, and parameters used in only function call are called actual parameters. Okay, and it is also over. And after then, what is the next one? The next one is function definition. So coming to the function definition, here we are perform the actual operation. Generally, we are assuming, suppose in the case of predefined function, strt, its duty is what? Its functionality is what? Find the square root of the number q. Pow, it find the power of a given number, like that. Similarly, here also, here my function is display. What actually it will display? It will display some information. So now, if we observe the function definition, the return type or data type, function name, and its parameters list, and the block of statement means some statement inside this function and return statement here. Okay, is having return. So actually, what is the need of this return? What is the need of this return? Will pass the flow of control of this function definition to the function call here. So once if you are calling function means what? The cursor, cursor is nothing but your control flow that is passed from function call to function definition. And after then from the definition, if you want from the definition, if you pass any argument to the function call, then with the help of return we can pass. Then how many number of written statements can we use inside the function definition? We can use more than one. We can use any number of written statements. But at a time, we can pass only one written value. Not at a time, we are not pass multiple values. We are passing at a time only one value. Okay, and that is function definition. And see, here also I am using parameters, and these parameters are duplicate parameters. These parameters are duplicate parameters. So I am giving an example here, display. So actually what the display functionality, it is saying some good morning message to all. And what about sum? Sum is what? It is used to perform some sum of the two numbers. But in this case, see, I am taking return type is integer. So that is why I'm writing here return express one. Then express one. And then what this variable? These variables are formal parameters and these are local to this function here. These are local to the function. Generally, what is mean by local and what is mean by global? I have to give the example of the difference between the local and the global here. See, if suppose I am having my program is this here, tdio.h main section return 0. Okay. So now in this scenario, so if I am declaring a variable here I am declaring a variable called a and whose value is some 20. And here I am declaring one more variable called b and whose value is some 20. Whose value will be 20. And after this, I am trying to print these two values here. Some a is equal to percentage t comma a, and I can write printf some b equal to percentage d comma b. I am writing here. I have to separate these two output with some new line. See, in this case, in this scenario, this a is 20. And the function, the variables which are used above the main sections are having the global scope. Just now I told here, usage of function declaration always above the main section. So that means it is having the global. Global scope means I can use this variable inside the main section and outside the main section also. We can use this variable. That means it is called a scope here. The scope of this variable is throughout the program. Throughout the program, anywhere we can use. Then what about this b, sir? The b is okay. I have to take b value is some 10. Mm. And what about the scope of b here? Whose scope is within the function only, within the main function only. And if suppose somewhere else here outside this main function, I am trying to access this b, it's not possible here. Okay, so here b is having local scope. Local means within the function only. Global means throughout the program here. Okay, anywhere we can use. So how we represent global variable means just declare the variable above the main section. How we okay, generally all your local variable are having the scope within the function only. Within the function only. Okay. Then if I'm executing this here, then I can get it 10 and 20 values. I can get 10 and 20. First A is 20 and second time B is 10. Okay, is 20 and p is 10, and this is the scenario. But actually, see, if suppose sir I am using my local and global variable, I am using represented with one same variable here. What is the problem here? So if a local and global variable is having the same name means local is having the highest priority, global is not having. So because of this here, you will get only 10. You will get only 10. Okay, you will get only 10. So this is the concept of local and global. Now coming to the programming here. Again, function definition. Function definition. So function definition, it uses what? Name of the function. It uses name of the function, hmm, and return type and parameters, block of statement written here. Okay. This is an example to display some information, and this is to find sum of two numbers, and I have written some value. Okay. Then I have to utilize here. I have to use all these functions here. These three steps: function declaration, function call, and function definition. And and I have to write function declaration, function call, and function definition. So for that one, uh, so now in this scenario, I'm taking, I'm declaring a function like this void. My name of the function is some display. So name of the function is display. Okay. Now after then I have to call the function display. I'm calling this. Next, after calling this, I want to define what actually this here. Display, and then printf. Hello everyone. So I want to send this information. I want to, if I'm executing this code here, I will get this output here. This is simple here. See, the first one, this is here my function declaration. This function declaration. And second one is this my function call. And third one is function definition. This is. So always use the function. If you use the function declaration, it must be above the main section. And when we call any function here, that should be according to your requirement. But in this scenario, I'm calling function inside the main. Okay. But where you write the definition section, it must be after the main section. The definition section is always after the main section. Outside the main section only we can write. Now function declaration, function call, function definition. How actually it will work? First compiler read this instruction. It can assume that this tells a prototype. Prototype means name of the function is display and having no return type, and it is having the no return type and no argument. Okay, once uh, compiler, it can assume that the display return type is white. So now at the definitions section here, if suppose if we use instead of void, if we use some int, you will get error. Why? Because actually its prototype is what, return type is void, but you are saying int. This means incompatibility of the function. Otherwise we can verify incompatibility. Okay, you will get incompatibility. This is, and here actually the function is having return type, so that is why don't assign this function call to any other variable also. Why? If it is having return type we should assign, but in this scenario if I am assigning here also incompatibility. Why? You have taken your function display is return type is void, but you are assigning some value here. When we are assigning here, if it is having return type means we are assigning in this way, so it is also wrong. It is also wrong here. So it indicates here, when we declare a function means the function prototype that must be a same for all the purposes here, like At the time of definition section, we should use the same prototype also. We should use same prototype. And at the time of function call, we can use the same type. Because of this, this year, I told already, while we are working with any predefined functions concept here, like string functions, first you know the prototype of that. Once if you know the prototype, once if you understand the functionality and prototype of it, you can use efficiently the function in the application. That is the thing. Okay, but if you don't know exactly how to use it, means what, you may chance of getting some unexpected results. Okay, unexpected results here, not expected results. That is the problem here. So that is why the function prototype is important. The function declaration is tells function prototype. Okay, and now see, actually the arguments here, the number number of arguments and the data type of these arguments and the return type, we are combinedly called signature here. Basically, a function's signature represents a data type of arguments, number of arguments, and its return type. So based on the signature, the functions are classified into actually four types. Functions are classified into four types here. Okay, here first, what is signature? Signature tells the return type, a number of arguments, and data type of argument, that is signature. And based on this signature, the functions are classified four types. First one is what? The function is having no return type and no argument. If you see the example of this here, no return type means void. Name of the function I am taking add. It is not having any argument. Okay. The second one, the function with the return type. Return type is this int and no argument. It is also not having any argument. And third, no return type, void and with argument. Yes, I am using these arguments. And last, with the return type and with argument. With the return type is this, and with argument is index int. So in this way, based on the signature, we are classified. So that means what? If I am giving any task, if I am doing any task with the functions, you can use this any one of the four methods here. Okay. So, but what is the efficient one, sir? What is the best one? What is the efficient one? What is the good processor to implement the functions concept here? The last one is the best one. Why last one is the better? See, actually, what is the nature of a function? Function can provide the feature of a reusability. When reusability happened here, when reusability is achieved here, if the function is written some value only, we can reuse that variable here. So that is why if the function reusability means what? It must be having some return type and with the argument here. With the argument means the situation to pass your input as an argument here. Sometimes I don't want to pass all arguments here. So the priority is this. Okay. So if you implement any program with the usage of function, means the fourth one is the efficient one. And of course here, according to the scenario, you can use remaining other three also. But most of the widely used one is this fourth type here. Okay. And let us see, first of all, I want to give the example of all these four representations here. For all these four ways, we have to see the example. And later, we will discuss several programs on, we will discuss different programs on the function concept here. So, my first one is, what is the first type here? I have to use no return type and no argument. No return type means void and okay, name of the function I am taking add, and it is having no argument. So my intention is that my intention is that I have to add two numbers, and where my function name is add, and the function is not having argument, and function not return any value. Okay. So for to implement this type, how to write? So I'm closing everything. So here onwards here. See, first of all, what I need to do. Hello. So first of all, what I'm doing here, I have to declare a function. So if I want to declare a function means, so I have to declare my function in the above the main section. That means if the function is having global scope, so that is why I'm taking here void. Void is return type. Name of the function is add. I don't want to take any arguments here, so that is why hmm, I am making this as empty. I am not using any arguments. And at the end, I am using semicolon. That means what? Function declaration at the end is semicolon is there. Okay. Now I want to call this function. Then simply I am calling it. What is the syntax? What is the syntax of a function calling here? Just function name followed by the open and close parenthesis. And then we are calling. But see, if it is not having any return type, so that is why I'm calling normally way. And after calling this, immediately cursor will be going to where? The function definition. Okay. Now here, in this case, just I am declaring the two variables. Okay. I am declaring the two variables. Now I want to read these two values. Scanf. I am reading two values. Scanf percentage d ampersand a comma ampersand b. So if I want to give some information to the end user, then I can write printf, enter the two numbers. Okay. Then after then I want to do, okay, I want to take one more extra variable called c, and c equal to a plus b, c equal to a plus b. Now the important point related, when no return type means just use printf statement is inside the function definition. So when there is no return type means, use printf. Using printf, print the results inside the function definition. Is having return type means don't use printf here. Return the results with the help of return statement. Return followed by your statement. Now I'm closing this. Now see the execution. Hmm. So how I tell you, add is my user definition. So first of all, I am declaring it. This is function declaration where I need, actually where I need this usages. So I have to call this in function, main function. This is function call. Once if you are call, okay, the cursor will be reached to your function definition. This is called binding here. Binding means we are providing some link between function call to function definition. And during the binding, we can pass some arguments and we can retrieve the results from the function definition also. Okay. Now what I am doing here, it read the two numbers. Okay, we are giving inputs and do the addition. Finally print the results here. So I am using void. If I am using void means I'm writing printf statement inside the function definition. Don't use any return. If void will come means don't use any return. Other than void means we should use return. Okay. Now see the execution. 45 and 67, then the sum is 112. The sum is 112. So in this way, you will get the output. Okay. Then my intention is that, sir, I want to use this second representation. Like I want to use return type and I don't want argument. So to implement this type means what? Take here int. Okay. It's now function having return type is integer. Now, how we call when function is having return type? Hmm? We should take a variable of the function return type. So I'm taking c, and I have to assign this c equal to some hmm, add up something here. Okay, and now let's see. Once if you are calling this function, is immediately cursor will be going to here. But what is the return type? What is the return type of add here? Integer. What I am using here void. It is wrong. So that is why I have made changes into the int. Now I am taking the same thing here. But in this scenario, what I am doing after reading the two numbers, I want to I want to return its sum with the statement here, return statement here. Why? Because here, why I'm taking this return statements are here. See, the function add return type is what? Integer. So that is why I'm taking here integer. Now here it is integer means don't use any printf statement print for the results here. We should pass the result. That is why I'm using here return. Return. What is the value you have to pass? Addition of two numbers. That is I'm passing. Okay, we are passing the addition of two numbers, the sum to the function call. Okay, once we are calling, cursor is come to here and we are return the result again here. So now function call means what? Passing the control from function call to function definition and retrieve the results from function definition to function call. Okay, now tell me what is the value right now this function call is having here. It's a sum of two numbers. Like if I'm taking 8 10 20, then 20 10 plus 20 30 will come here. Okay, now in this case variable c is not required here. Variable c is not required. Then finally the 30 is available, 30 is assigned to the c, and now I want to print c here. I want to print the percentage d c. This is one of the way. Sir, otherwise, sir, sir, otherwise, can I use directly? I want to use, okay, instead of using of this here. Okay, first time you are confused here. Otherwise, I'm using this type way only. For the next example, I have to tell in the different manner. Okay, now observe carefully. This is my function declaration and my function call. When it is having return type means the function call is assigned to some variable. Okay, now here immediately the cursor will be reached to this and it will find the sum and again back, return back to here, and now the result is in the variable c. We are printing the c value. We are printing the c value. Okay, now see the execution. My inputs are 12 for 34, then output is what? 46. Then output is 46. Okay, so this is the concept here. What is this is second approach. Okay, the approach is second. Return type, no argument with return type. The third way is what's are here. I want to use, I don't want to use any return type, but I want to use some argument here. Now my arguments are this. Name of the return type is void. Name function name is same. Then how we use it? So in this scenario, so how the function declaration here? The function declaration return type is void. Name of the function is add. I'm taking two arguments into x comma into y. Okay. Now these two variable, whatever the variable you have taken here, these are called duplicate variable here. These are called duplicate or formal parameters. Okay. Now, if my function declaration is this means what? Compulsory, your function definition should be in this format only. Okay. Now that is why what I need to do, I need to modify void add. Here it is into x comma into y. Okay. And now I'm removing all the things. See now function declaration is this is my prototype. That is why my function definition is this. It is having open and close braces. Okay. But how to read an argument here? Here I can read arguments here like into a comma b. Here I am reading arguments. See, my function is not having a return type, so that is why I can. So first of all, I am reading a and b. I have to read the a and b values. Scanf percentage d, comma ampersand a, comma ampersand b. So in this way, I'm reading the two numbers. Okay. And after reading the two numbers, I have to pass this here, A and B. I have to pass. Okay. And after passing this here, after passing this means what? Immediately the cursor will be going into the function definition. So that is why I'm closing this. Okay. Once we are calling this means the value a is available in the place of x and b is available in the place of y, and this concept is called passing parameters to a function. Okay, we can pass a parameters from function call to definition We are passing the parameter value, and that is called call by value, and we are passing address, and that is call by reference. Okay, already we discussed in pointers concept. If time will be there, I will explain that also. So now I'm passing a and b values. Okay. Now in this case, what I need to do here right now, your a and b values are currently, your a and b values are x and y. Now I have to work with this x and y here. So that is why here I am taking one more variable called z, and here no need to declare again this x and y for this function here. Already these are belongs to, these two are belongs to the function. These are called duplicate parameters, and these are called local variable. Local variable means whose scope is within this function only. Outside the function we can't use this x and y. That is local. Okay. Now I am taking int z, and what next? I want to get the sum of these two numbers. What I am doing here, I am taking z equal to x plus y, and here I'm printing percentage d. My result is z. That's all. Okay, my result is this. Now I have to export the code. My inputs are 12, 13, and output will be 25. This is the addition of two numbers. So if you want to give some information to the end user, enter two numbers. Okay, some information will be displayed. Some information will be, so enter the two numbers. Okay, 12, 12 and 45, it is 57. Like this, you can write. Okay, so what do you observe here? This is my function declaration. It is my function call. And here void is there. If void will come means I can call function normally. So if void will come means don't use any return statement. Directly I will print my answer in the function definition. That's all. Okay. And then what about the next one? So coming to the next question, last one here. It's return type and with signature. Return type means integer, and again, sir, why you have taken for all these cases integer means if I'm adding two integer, what is the result data type? I'm getting integer only. That is the thing. That is why I'm taking int. But if you take one is into float, result will be float. Then you can take sometime return type integer or float. It's your wish. Now again, I'm changing into int. Okay. Now here, hmm, what I'm doing here. So I don't want to assign this function call. It's having return type means I can call my function within the print statement here. Now I am calling what is the function name here? Add a comma b. Okay, this is my function. Okay, and it is my function declaration, and I am calling this function. I'm calling this function. See why it is return type. The return type is integer, so that is why I'm taking here format specifier percentage d. If suppose it is float means what? In this place I am taking float. If it is character means in this type I am taking character. Okay. So once if we are calling this, once we are calling this, what I'm in the what we have to use in the function definition. Take int here. This can be modified. I don't want to print here. So your function definition is having a return type means we should return some result. So that is why I have to return the sum of x and y value. That's all. I'm return sum of x and y value. Let's see if I'm executing this code here. If I'm executing this code 12 plus 34, then 46 will come. And this is the best used one. Here efficiently used one is this. My function declaration is this. Okay, and function calling in this way, and function definition. So how it will work? First of all, we are reading the variable and we are calling the function. We are calling the function means the variable a is passed in the place of x, b is passed in the place of y. Right now A and B values are in the x and y variable. Here x plus y, A and B value sum will be, we are passing here. Now once we are passing this result means what? It will going to, the results will be printed with the format specified. Okay, and this concept, this is what here, return function with the return type and argument. Okay, sir. And my question, what is this first one? What is this first one? Function declaration. What is the second one? This is function and this is function call. Otherwise, okay, it is function declaration. And this is my function call and it is function definition. So my question, so for every function, so for every function, it is mandatory to use to these function declaration, function call, and function definition. Okay, and my question is, if you take any program, any application, it is mandatory to use the function declaration, function call, and function definition. Tell me, it is mandatory the usage of all these. So give your answer. Tell me your answer. Okay, are you followed or not? My question. So my question is, for every function, the function declaration, function call, and function definition are mandatory, or we can use any optional one. Tell me, what is your answer? What is your opinion on this? Please, please send your answer in the chat box. So other than this, we can use recursive functions. 524. I'm not asking about that one, sir. I'm not asking about. I'm not asking about recursive function. So my intention is that here, my question is, it is these are mandatory. Yes, these compulsory. Have to use these things for each and every function here. Okay, these are all three are mandatory. That is my question here. So all the three are not mandatory. Okay, all three are not mandatory. What are the mandatories here, sir? The mandatories are these two only: function call and function definition. Okay, then how we write? So that means what? It is not recommended to declare every time the function declaration. So how we write here? I am deleting this, but in this place directly you can write the function definition. That's all. Okay. So in this way we can write. And most of the developers, and if you see in Java and C++, C# programs here, they write the coding in this way. First, they write the function definition. After then, they can call. That's all. So that is why function declaration is optional to use. If you want to use, you can use, no problem, but it is optional. But in the place of function declaration, directly I'm writing function definition, and secondly, I'm using the definition section. I'm using the definition section. Okay. So now see, if I want to execute this code, I want to execute this code, then it will perfectly give the output here 12 plus 34 46. It will not give any errors. So from here onwards, here what we have to do, for the first two numbers, first two three programs, we are habituated with the function declaration. And after function declarations, once we are well familiar with this function concept, then you can use this approach only. The most recommended one is this approach here. Why? We are reducing the length of the code. Hmm, okay. Now, and my question is, if suppose my question is, sir, if I am removing this, if I am removing this, if I am removing this, and I'm saving this as, okay, with, okay, so already it is having some name, new, and some source file, and I am paste it, and I have to save this file as some extension with h, and my extension is, suppose I'm writing here instack dot h, suppose I'm writing. So see, so in this scenario, I am writing only the function call. I am writing only the function call. So that is why if I am trying to execute this code, I am getting error. Why? Where actually the function definition, it's having not having function definition. So that is why the function definition and function call are mandatory. Okay, mandatory. Okay, and after this, what I am doing here? Okay, next, the thing is that here I am writing here instack.h. Sir, if you want to create any user defined header file, you can write the function definitions and variable declarations in one function and save that extension some .cr .h. Then that will become user defined header file. User defined header file means our user defined functions can available in that user defined header. Okay. Then what is the advantage of this? What is the advantage of this here? So if I want to include, if I am including this instack.h in my current program, then it will work. So how we include here? Include instack.h. I'm writing instack.h. Now I'm exporting the code. Now I'm exporting the code. So I'm giving the numbers 12 and 45. Then what is the expected output is 47 will come. The expected output is 57 will come. In this way also we can run. Okay. Then the question, sir, what is the difference between this predefined function, predefined header file and user defined header file? So predefined function, which consisting of all the predefined definitions, functions definition. What are the predefined functions? Scanf, printf, power. So if you open this file, all the function definitions will come. But what about this header file, user defined header file? If you open this file, the user defined definitions will come. That's all. But a predefined header file can represented in angular bracket. User defined header file represented in double quote. Angular brackets indicates predefined path of stdio.h. Double quote indicates okay, it's a user defined path. It is not the file. If you open include directory, the file stdio.h available. But if you open include instack.h is not available. That is why somewhere else this file is available. So that tells double quote. Angular indicates your predefined path here, where actually the file is available. Okay, so that is the concept of a user-defined header file and predefined header files. Okay, predefined and user-defined header files. Okay, leave it this. So up to here, the how to use Okay, if you implement any program with the functions here, you know all these basic terminologies. Okay, once if you get a knowledge on this here, then you are having you are eligible for writing the coding on functions here. Okay, then here onwards, what I'm doing here onwards, after completion of this, I'm giving the programs. Okay, so coming to the programming here, coming to the programming, so my first question is find the sum of first and natural numbers here. I want to find the sum of first and natural numbers by using functions. By using functions. Here onwards, we have to implement our entire code is in terms of functions only. Okay. Then how we implement this? So to implement that here, functions here. So I'm taking first my return type. I'm assuming the return type of my function is integer. What is the name of the function? Sum of n natural numbers. So that is why I'm taking sum n. Sum n is my function name, and it is having, I have to take one argument, and that is my x. Okay, that is my x. This is function declaration, and this is my function declaration. Okay, and next I have to read the input here. I have to read the input, scanf percentage d comma ampersand of n. Okay, scanf percentage d ampersand of n. Now I am reading the input. After then, how I call this function here? So the function, okay, the function is having what, some return type. So that is why what I am doing. How do I call this function here? Then I can take printf percentage d. Now name of the function is sum n. Hmm, and my I have to pass an argument. N is my argument here. N is my argument. That's all here. And this is my function call. Then how we write the function definition? Already I told. So if you write a function definition means I'm taking as is whatever I'm declaring in the function declaration here. Now see how it will work. First of all, we are declaring the function like this means function is having the return type. I'm reading one input. Okay. Now immediately I'm passing this here. I'm calling this means what, n is passed to in the place of x. Now n x is having the value of n. This x is local to the sum n. Here we are implementing the logic. How to implementing the sum of first n natural numbers here? Take sum equal to 0. Sum s value 0. Take the for loop. I is 1 and I less than or equal to n. Don't take any. See here n is n scope is what, within the main function only. Okay. Actually your n is right now available in the x. So that is why take this as x and I plus plus. Okay, then s equal to s plus I. That's all. S equal to s plus 1. So in this way, we are finding the sum. So finally, what you have to do here? Hmm, after this here, so first by using this way, I can find the sum. I equal to 1, I less than or equal to something. It can calculate the sum. Already you know the logic. We did lot of programs. Now after knowing this sum here, after getting the sum value, I have to return this sum to what, where my function call. So that is why with the help of return statement, I can pass the sum. That's okay. We can, with the help of a return statement, I can pass. Now see the output. Input is 10. Then what is the sum of first 10 natural numbers? 55. If input is 5, the sum of first 5 natural number is 15. Yes, I'm getting correct. Okay. So what are the things we have to observe here? This is my function declaration, and I am reading one variable. I have to pause here, and my function call is this. Okay, and function definition. After getting the result, I have to pass the result to the function call and get the answer.